our tendency is to, especially when we hear things about discovering the infinite nature of what's here, as I often talk about, it's understandable that we would imagine, well, I'm not experiencing whatever it is he's talking about, so I have to find something more. I have to find something else. I have to find that greater, that moreness, that transcendental, infinite, all-nourishing abundance that's being spoken of. But this is the thing, is that as I often say, the infinity of what's here, the boundless, fathomless, extraordinary nature of it is not found in some other perception. Because there is no other perception. There's this perception. This perception that is, of course, so vast and multidimensional and filled with, we could say, countless infinite perceptions right now. So I invite you to just be with your experience exactly as it is. Be with what's being perceived. You can't be with anything else, of course, right? It's not possible. You don't have to look for something else. You don't have to look for some other moment, some other perception. The perceiving is already here. The miraculous perceiving of this instant is already here. It's already being given. However it's looking, however it's showing up, however it's appearing, here it is. So just see exactly what's being seen. Hear what's exactly being heard. Simply perceive what's being perceived. Don't look for something else. In a sense, let your experience, the perceptions that are arising in each instant, take you wherever they take you. This constant unfolding, one apparition flowing into the next, one appearance morphing into the next appearance, one experience transforming itself constantly into the next thing we call experience, and the next thing. Just allow your experience, the flow of your experience, to unfold and reveal its endless majesty, its endless bounty, its endless mystery. It's here effortlessly, isn't it? The moment is unfolding completely effortlessly. It's being put here somehow. It's being given. The moment is being given, isn't it? It's flowing forth spontaneously, inexplicably. Somehow everything is being generated, everything is being created. All these perceptions, this flow of life is just happening. It's impossible to it's impossible to conclude how any of this is here. But here is this remarkable moment, this that is being perceived right now exactly as it is. And then, of course, shape-shifting that quickly this constant opening, never really fixing or freezing, but just this flow, this easeful flow of experiencing opening into experiencing, perceiving opening into more perceiving endlessly. Truly each moment appearing freshly. No need to lay on top of it the prior reference points of what we imagine it to be based on similar seemingly experiences we've had. Just be with the freshness, with the absolute unknown, mysterious nature of each instant. We truly do not know what anything is from this vantage. So just let yourself be with it as it is, not having to reference what was, but simply being with what's here, the freshness of it, the immediacy of it, right now. Absolutely free of history, every instant free of its history. This is us. This we are this ever-changing flow of experiencing. Fresh, new, never before seen. And then slipping away and becoming the next instant, and slipping away and becoming the next instant. And we can just enjoy the endlessness of that ride, of that unfolding that we are and that everything is. We're often looking for something more, and yet what's here is so full, is it not? Full of all of this that's appearing. The energy of it, the consciousness of it, the vibrancy of it, the color of it, the diversity of it, the incredible richness of perception. It's just bathing in this sea of sensuality. Every instant is like this, isn't it? So much, and so much of it that maybe isn't being noticed. We're noticing whatever we're noticing, but as we just open to what's here, we may find ourselves suddenly noticing all these little flickers and little vibrations and little rumblings and little things that there's really no words for. But we don't have to look for those. We can just be with what's here because there is infinity here already. All these details. We discover the boundless richness of what's here, the fathomless abundance and nourishment of what's here, the astonishing nature of what's here, simply by, in a sense, staying with what's here, with exactly what's here, precisely what's here, not looking for something else. Because there is nothing else, right? Or what would we look for other than some thought of what could be or might be or we hope would be? But that's all abstraction. What's here now, concretely, palpably, inarguably, what's here now is what's appearing right now. And just be with that. That's all we can ever be with. That's all we are ever with, actually. every night we dream. We may not always remember the dreams, but the, the dream is such a powerful metaphor in so many ways for what's here in what we call the non-dreaming waking state. But it's incredible. A couple nights ago, I had this very elaborate dream about my mother and father. We just had a memorial for my father on Friday, and not surprisingly, I had a very rich dream about my folks. And wow, just the depth and the detail and the complexity of and all that was being, I mean, it was incredible, incredible. And in the dreams at night that are dreamt, what is it that's putting all of that there? The entire scene, the dreaming scenery, the story, the plot, the characters, the feelings, the sensations that are all there in the dream world as real as what we call the realer world, the waking world. It's all so, right, incredible, right? So what's putting the dream, all of the dream there? Well, we could say that the dreaming consciousness is putting it all there somehow. I mean, that's one way to explain it, right? We really can't explain it. But it's extraordinary, isn't it? But let's ask the same question now. What's putting this here? What's putting this waking, what we call the waking reality, the waking dream? What's putting this here? What's putting this moment here? What's putting every thought, every desire, every impulse, every motivation, every feeling, every sensation, every sound? What's putting all of this here? How is any of this here? It's all being put here, we could say. It's all being generated somehow. What's putting you here? What's putting consciousness here? The consciousness, we could say, that's perceiving all of this. What's putting that there? Some may say, oh, the brain is putting all of this here, all of this subjective experience. What's putting the brain here? What's putting the life force here that animates what we call the brain and the body? What's putting this Zoom call here? What's putting my voice here? What's putting my thoughts here? It's incredible, isn't it? It's absolutely mind-shatteringly, ridiculously impossible to answer that question, isn't it? And what this moment is being put here, if you will, in real time, the putting of the moment here, or the creation of this moment is, we only know now, we don't know what led up to this moment somehow, as if there was some build up to this moment. That's absolutely an abstraction. We only know that it's being created, if you will, put here in real time, now, just now, right? And can you feel that this is happening without any sense of agency on our part in terms of some individuals that we think we might be? This is just, we're being put here. How are we being, even if we're an individual, an autonomous creature, how are we here? How is any of this happening? How is this moment springing forth? Feel that. There's no answer to that, of course, but when you feel your way into such a question, you feel that. You feel the mystery, in a sense. We are feeling the mystery. What's putting this here, putting this moment here, is what's here, right? They're one and the same thing. They're not two things. We're being done in that sense. Everything's being done. Everything is imagine something right now. Imagine what you're going to do, after the Zoom call. Imagine that for a moment. How did imagination occur just now? How did you do that? How did you imagine that? Oh, well, I just imagined it. How did you imagine that? How did any of that come into existence as what we call the imagination of some future? The capacities to listen, to see, to touch, to know, to understand. What's putting all of those capacities here? The intelligence, if you will, woven through all of this that's appearing. The unbelievable structure of it. The intricacy of what's appearing. Even though it's ultimately empty of findability, it's empty of form that can be identified and pinned down, right? That's one of its cardinal aspects, is its empty, identityless nature, because it's infinite, right? You can't pin it down, and yet it shows up as this unbelievable, like, I'm looking at this plant across the room and the structure of it and the color of it and the vibrancy of it. It's all, I mean, the forms are stupendous, aren't they? Even though they can't be pinned down, they are empty of self-nature. They're empty of identity, right? Because it's just like a fathomless, bottomless well of infinity, what everything is made of. And yet, that unfindable emptiness shows up as all this exquisite form, and all of this happening, right? Again, somehow this is all just being created. What is creating all of this? Your curiosity in what we're exploring here, where does that come from? Your curiosity. Where does our curiosity about anything come from? This creative energy, we could say, that is life, that is everything, feel the richness of it, feel the vitality of it, feel the nourishment of it. It is filling us, but more accurately, it is us. That's why it's filling us. It is us. We are filled with and nourished by this force of existence, this creative energy that is birthing each instant, is birthing us in each instant. That's how, feel that. You are feeling that. Everything we're feeling is the feeling of that, right? The feeling of that energy, the energy of everything, the life force of everything. And we don't have to go to some other experience to feel that, because every experience that's arising, in the instant of its arising, is the feeling of that life force, of that creative intelligence, of that inexplicable, miraculousness, whatever. There's no words, of course. I mean, what is left but to stand in absolute awe and wonder at the marvel of it all, right? A marvel of every instant. Every instant is a complete marvel. That it even exists is its marvel. But also the way in which it seems to exist, and the way in which it seems to show up, and the complexity of it, the color of it, the flavor of it, And again, as I was saying at the outset, you don't have to look for this you could say, moreness that I'm describing is found right in the exact perception and experience that you're having right now. That's where it's found, not in some abstract moreness or transcendental infinity. This is the infinity. just as it's being, the very feeling that's here right now, the very felt sense of this moment, the very feeling of your current perception, whatever's being thought, heard, felt, sensed, touched, tasted. Right there is this ever morphing, alive, infinite, dynamic, ungraspable, boundless richness in this perception, this sound, this sight. The feeling of my thumb and index finger together, that tactile sensation, just as it is. The whole universe is there in that single sensation, which is well, truly amazing, as is everything.